I want to have a discussion about the Greenbelt in Ontario, the largest greenbelt in the world. Uh, Remarkable greenbelt, remarkable geography and things. Let's go back a little bit in time, though, and talk about what happened back in the late 40s, 50s when the QEW, Queen Elizabeth Highway, was built. And it was extended from Stony Creek all the way through to Niagara and eventually down to Fort Erie. So the QEW, I remember as a boy going through, and there was a traffic circle at Highway 20 in St. Catherine, in Niagara Falls, and another traffic circle at Highway 20 in Stony Creek. There was lights in St. Catharines. There was lights in at Beamsville. There was lights in Grimsby on the QEW. And we used to have to cross the Welland Canal at the Homer Bridge. The QEW actually crossed the canal at the Homer Bridge, and it was a lift bridge, and stall up traffic, and then get back onto the QEW through St. Catharines. So, but that all eventually changed. They first off, the big change, of course, was the Burlington Skyway was built. So there was no lift bridge there at the entrance to Hamilton Harbor, and the Skyway in St. Catharines was built. I remember asking my dad, I said, how did they manage to build this highway through all this beautiful fruit farms all the way through from Stony Creek all the way through to St. Catharines and beyond? So he just said, well, basically, they expropriated the land from the farmers. And I said, well, weren't the farmers upset about that? He says, well, those who lost their land, who had their land expropriated, probably weren't too happy. They may have been. They may take the money, and that was fine. He said, but really, with hindsight, it would have been better to build the QEW along the top of the escarpment, along the Highway 20 corridor, as opposed to right through all that pristine fruit crop land all the way along the shore of Lake Ontario. So with time, I said, well, what do you think is going to happen with time? He says, well, in a long time, the industrial and commercial people will move in along that highway, and because the land will be worth more to them than it will be as a farmland. And he didn't tell me, what a time frame for that was, but as it turned out, it was much less than 50 years before most of the farmland stretching from Stony Creek to St. Catharines eventually became industrial commercial because of the access to the QEW. I mean, there's still farms there. There's still vineyards. There's still lots of wineries in the area. But it used to be incredible. I mean, it was just miles and miles and miles traveling along the QEW of fruit farms. And I remember seeing that as a boy. But it's not. It's gone now. It's all basically gone. I have no idea the percentage is gone. So let's take us to the Greenbelt. The Greenbelt is fantastic. I think a fantastic idea. We need to protect the Niagara Escarpment, the Ridges Moraine, the Holland Marsh, and all the multitude, hundreds, probably thousands of streams that come off of both the escarpment and the Oak Ridges Moraine. Those water courses all need to be protected. So now we talk about, okay, what about the other land that's in the Greenbelt? Well, the recent discussion is it's beautiful farmland. Well, it's not as beautiful as what the stretch from Stony Creek to St. Catharines was. It's not that incredible farmland as what was there. So what farmland is being protected within the Greenbelt? What agricultural land, if we've already protected the Niagara Escarpment, the Oak Ridges Moraine, all the water courses, the Holland Marsh, what farmland are we protecting with the Greenbelt? So the key to that is, okay, well, what areas of the province are the 5 top areas for different crops and different agricultural products? So let's start with dairy cattle. Okay, so dairy cattle. What are the 5 top counties or regions in Ontario for dairy cattle? Well, there are 5 top ones, but none of those for dairy cattle are within the Greenbelt. So let's go look at beef then, beef cattle for So the top 5 regions or counties within Ontario for beef cattle, none of those are in the Greenbelt. How about chickens? Okay, we'll check for chickens. None of the top 5 chicken farms in Ontario, or areas for chicken farms in Ontario, are within the Greenbelt. Eggs, the same thing, not in the Greenbelt. Pork, not in the Greenbelt. Fruits, vegetables, everything, none of the top 5 counties or regions for these are in the Greenbelt. So what is the Greenbelt all about then? Well, it's designed to protect against, city sprawl. And I mean, it does that for sure. But the idea that this is agricultural land that will affect our food source if we allow parts of the Greenbelt to be developed doesn't make too much sense to me, because there's not that much agriculture that is vital to feeding the humans in Ontario. So again, I'll say this: we need to protect the Niagara Escarpment, the Ridges Moraine, Holland Marsh, the water, all the thousands of water courses that come off of those ridges and down into Lake Ontario, and they need to be protected. And we have laws that protect them. You're not allowed to build within 100 feet of the high water mark of any water course. Usually that means we don't build within 100 feet of the top of the ravine or the ridge. That's usually because the water courses kind of dig a bit of a ravine or have a path through, and we don't build within 100 feet of those. So all of those water courses, the thousands of them, would be protected. But the other land that's part of the Greenbelt, what is it used for? What is the primary agriculture that is used within the Greenbelt? And I was shocked to find that 4 out of the 5 top counties or top regions in Ontario for horse farms and horse stables are within the Greenbelt. So the Greenbelt is not an agriculture for human food. It's agriculture for horses. Now, in Ontario, we don't eat horses, so what are we protecting with the Greenbelt as far as agriculture? Horse farms. Crazy. So it's not a Greenbelt is not an area of huge agricultural importance as far as the food growth. Is there food being grown in there? Absolutely. No doubt about it. But it's not a primary food source for the province of Ontario. Other areas of Ontario are a way higher concentration of proper agriculture than the Greenbelt ever will be. And in fact, the Greenbelt is primarily horse farms. So we need to consider that developing of the Greenbelt for commercial, industrial, for homes, is well worthwhile, because the economic value of those developments would be far outweigh the minimal agricultural land that we do. And again, I want to protect the escarpment, the Oak Ridges Moraine, the Holland Marsh, all the water courses, but that leaves a lot of land that we could use for development of homes, of industrial, commercial, schools, hospitals, highways, whatever. There's lots of land there that shouldn't be protected by a Greenbelt because it's not that valuable as an agricultural land. It's not like it's not pristine agricultural land that needs to be protected. It's horse farms. So, thank you for listening.